I'm gonna give this movie like the golden shit pickle award for like one of the worst movies ever fucking made. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the YS channel. So today we have a special treat for you, a total snooze fest of a movie. So how can a movie where Steven Seagal, action movie legend, who plays an Army Delta Force sniper, be a total farce? Well, this is the 2016 version of Steven Seagal, who at this point has completely phoned it in and stopped giving a shit. And we hope this review goes better than our earlier Steven Seagal movie review. It's got totally blocked from YouTube. So, because it's Seagal's giant ego.
That's right, Derek. Steven Seagal, the fat ass that he is, used the power of his ego to block our previous review for one of his straight-to-video movies. Anyway, this is one of the many stinkers that Steven Seagal made in 2016, or I should say, it had released in 2016. And by this point in his life, he had completely given up. This is arguably the worst of the movies he released that year. First of all, we're veterans. We may not be special forces veterans, but we're veterans of the United States military. And Steven Seagal is, at this point when this movie was released, it was too fucking old. Oh, when this movie was made to be taken seriously as a special forces sniper. And second, I think he was like in his 60s when he did this. And second, yes, he is way too fat and out of shape. Like first of all, how the fuck do you get a fat fuck like him into the special forces and into a military environment where a physically fit person should be in the first place? Mind-boggling. Anyway, the reason it doesn't work for Seagal compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone is Stallone and Schwarzenegger are completely they're still in shape for their age, and they have more charisma in terms of acting ability.
Yeah.
Since Seagal has no charisma as an actor whatsoever.
Yeah. So normally we don't like to spoil movies this early into our discussions or reviews, but this is a giant stink pickle of a movie. And basically the whole plot, all right, Steven Seagal, all right, action movie legend, okay? Bear with us, okay? He sits down for like 90% of the scenes he's in, he's sitting and mumbling. Yeah, that's what he does. He sits and, yeah, he sits and he mumbles. And then he occasionally he'll get up and waddle around or whatever, and we'll talk more about that further on, because who the fuck needs the stunt double? Like when you're walking upstairs, all right, there's a couple scenes where he's like actually walking around and it's clearly not him, even though it's supposed to be his character. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, let me lay into him. I have to. Steven Seagal and Sniper Special Ops. By the way, there's a whole film series called Sniper that has nothing to do with this movie. So it stars Tom Bergner, or whatever his name is, but Sniper Special Ops has nothing to do with that franchise. It's just a cheap cash in. But anyway, Steven Seagal in this movie is far from his prime when he was making movies like Under Siege, On Deadly Ground, and Out for Justice. All he does, as you said, he sits there like this, holding his rifle. By the way, his firing skills when he uses assault rifles is piss poor. And then he mumbles around when he has dialogue. Like most of his dialogue, he's trying to speak with a fucking Cajun accent. Like the guy is from fucking Michigan. He has no connection to the Bayou of Louisiana whatsoever. Ever. And as I said before, he fires this AR-15 and even a sniper rifle with poor firing fundamentals. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but there's a scene where he's like firing his AR-15, and you can tell he's holding it wrong, and he's supposed to be the best there is. And then in the few shots his character actually is moving. It's a stunt double, as you said, a stunt fucking double, because Steven Seagal was only in this movie for a paycheck and nothing more. Or better yet, his paycheck was used as a money laundering scheme for Russian mobsters, because a couple of years later, after he made this movie, he was hightailing into Russia.
Yeah. All right. We could do a whole retrospective on the Fat Seagal era of movies. And this is, if this is not the worst one, it's right up there as one of the worst ones with the Fat Seagal era. So, obviously, Fat Steven Seagal is not what action movie lovers came to pay to see. And, well, unfortunately, that's what they got. Granted, during this time period, he was actually pumping out movies like crazy. Like, even though most of these movies were pure shit, he was still making movies. Like, I forget how many he actually released in 2016. But I mean, ever since his days as a theatrical box office like megastar died down, he's still been cranking out movies. You know, I mean, he's been very busy. You give him credit for that. You know, most of them are like colored by number plot lines, where he's like some like ultra Giga Chad badass who slap fights everybody throughout the movie. Eventually, everything just transgressed to the point where he literally just became a parody of himself. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having your film career go straight to video or home release, but as his career progressed, he got wider, fatter, and he was phoning it in even more. Like it became like there's a movie where he fights Mike Tyson. Okay, and it was released around the same time this came out. I'd have to go look up the name of this movie.
Gordon Salesman.
Yeah, he fights Mike Tyson, and of course, all half his scenes, he's literally just sitting down, talking like he owns the room. And then the shots where there's actual, it looks like they're doing actual physical contact. Like it looked like, they just made like some like rubber dummies, and they're just like it doesn't even look like. It's one thing for it to look cheesy. It's never for it to look like uninspired and fake. And that's what it did. And then with Sniper Special Ops, right? As we've been saying throughout this review, he literally just sits and talks. And then when he's running around, he's waddling. I mean, oh God. If this was somebody other than Seagal, like if, let's just say this was Stallone in the role, okay? It might be actually been a hell of a lot better movie. First of all, Stallone can act. May or may not like him, but he can act. And even into his 70s, he can pull off a convincing like military combat guy. If you ever watch his Expendables, Rambo film franchises, like he can still pull it off. Seagal, like, nah, man. Like, Seagal's almost wider than he is tall. Okay? Like, there's a point where, like, all this mysticism you built up over the decades as being some, like, martial arts badass and Aikido. Like, there's a point where you can no longer back that shit up. I mean, if he changed his martial arts styles to, like, fucking sumo or whatever, he might actually have been more convincing. But instead, we get some fat 60-year-old who is cosplaying as a fucking Call of Duty sniper special Delta Force guy. And he's wandering around just talking to his brother in arms, who, spoiler in the movie, they get separated from the rest of their Delta Force team. And then pretty much the whole plot of the movie is to get them rescued. Like, that's the plot of the movie.
Oh my
Like,
god, dude! I had to rewatch this movie a couple days ago, and I lost brain cells trying to comprehend what I was watching. That's how stupid this movie is.
I already spoiled the whole plot of the movie, like literally.
Yeah.
So Seagal, he plays a character named Sergeant Jake Chandler, expert sniper, and he joins Sergeant Vic Mosby with the Delta Force during an Overwatch mission to extract some American Congress guy who's being held by the Taliban in a remote Afghan village that totally does not look like a fucking pellet gun combat field. And then basically, as you can imagine, the rescue mission turns to shit. You know, there's a colored by numbers like gunfight. And then basically Chandler and his spotter, Private Rich, are separated from the squad. And this is where Seagal spends pretty much a good chunk of the film's runtime sitting and talking to this fucking kid who probably had.
Derek, you don't understand. In this era, Steven Seagal movies, the straight to video fat ass movies, this is prime Seagal as Primus, or his fattest, like fattest. This is actually his best sitting down action I have ever seen him do in any movie. Like he sits there like an expert being a fat ass, fat ass cosplaying as a special forces person. And basically giving useless advice to his spotter, who gets shot at some point in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Oh god. All right. Well, fans of sitting and talking, there's plenty of that in this movie. All right. So if you love your sitting and talking, you get all of that in this movie. But of course, this movie features more than just Steven Seagal. There's actually a whole cast and crew of characters that we got to focus on. All right. Even though Seagal is the main attraction for anybody wanting to watch, is like it's basically this is like a Hallmark version of an action movie, and it's colored by numbers. But basically, Seagal and his partner are stranded, and eventually they have to be rescued, and that's the plot of the movie. And then, of course, throughout this fucking travesty of the fucking combat movie, pretty much everybody displays poor handling of, you know, their weapons or their snipers and their rifles and all the other equipment they got, their M15s, their pistols, their hand carries. All of them almost display like, but I mean, for somebody who's been in the military and who's seen this shit like for real, like watching these people, like they're like it's just literally like a fucking Call of Duty cosplay. Even like watching them like do their formations to like cover each other. I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, there's a scene like where the primary shootout occurs, and like they're hiding behind these fucking like burn barrels, and they're all facing the same goddamn direction. You know, and there's like a guy like he's in between both barrels. Like, granted, like the barrels are like together almost, but there's like a gap like yay big, and there's another guy like with his rifle point right through the gap. Like, I'm doing something. You know, and it's like, this is not how they do this shit.
The fucking NATO journalist in this movie. God damn. I really hope she would fucking die, but no.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
no. We can't have nice things anymore.
I mean, I wouldn't call anybody in this casting crew a credible actor. I mean, this is literally like if Hallmark Channel were to like make an action movie or something, they would make something like this.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know, I mean, I don't have any more else to like discuss about the plot. Like, it is what it is, right? It's literally a color by numbers Hallmark style action movie. You know, they get a couple of fucking has-been washed up action stars and Seagal and Rob Van Dam just to add some kind of name value to this project. And then results, is you get one of the most meme-worthy Seagal performances ever put to screen.
Oh, speaking of that, the poster for this movie is so fucking hilarious. Like,
Yes.
it is one of the worst photoshops I have ever seen for a poster. Like, they have a photograph of like a physically fit, I guess special forces person, and then they digitally added Steven Seagal's fat fucking face to it, and it doesn't match matches like it's so poorly done and the way it's shot and everything. And not to mention, as we said before, Steven Seagal was too old and too fat to convincingly play a military official, especially a special forces one in this but again, someone told him he looked good in a uniform, and that's how we got him. It's a real shit pickle of a movie that I encourage people to watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you have it, people. I mean, Sniper Special Ops is barely a movie, so therefore we barely had a review for it. I mean, it really is barely a movie. So, if you just want to watch it for the so bad it's goodness of it and the Seagal memes, watch it. Other than that, skip it. It's bad. Like, it's bad. There you have it, everybody. Sniper Special Ops. It's a giant stink pickle of a movie. If you're a Seagal fan, check it out. Other than that, we do appreciate you all tuning into the discussion and review. As always, drop a like and subscribe. Later.
People.